When I was in high school, I had an English teacher. Anyone else? A few? Cool. I thought it would be more. I was hoping this bit would be relatable. No, I'm kidding. It's not. My English teacher was out of her fucking mind. She would start almost every lesson with, I think, the most troubling thing a grown woman can say. She would walk into the classroom and go, "Yeah, I'm wearing my daughter's clothes." Is there a greater cry for help than a middle-aged woman in a Von Dutch cap? No, I didn't think so either. No, I should say she was English/drama, so she could be quiet. Exactly. Yeah, she could be pretty theatrical. One day we walked into class and she was up the front. It was just her completely silent boombox beside her. And she didn't say a word. She just waited till we all filed in. And every time someone walked in, you could just see the life drain out of their face. You know, just clock the boombox and be like, "Fuck, please don't rap." And then she waited till they all came in. We all came in and we sat down, and then she pressed play. And the song she played, it's a song by Janice Ian, and it's called "At 17." Anyone in the room familiar with that song? Yeah, a couple. Okay, well, I'll explain it to everyone else, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. The song it's a really beautiful song about how hard life can be at 17 when you look like an absolute dog. That's She played it the entire way through, and then at the end went, "Just thought some of you needed to hear that." Name some names, bitch. Name some fucking names. I think what she meant is like, this is a song that helped me when I was 17. I think it will help some of you. But what happened that day, she broke a tiny piece of my brain, and I've never recovered. I sat down at a computer the other day and I typed in, "How do I have a glow up?" Is that the saddest thing you ever heard? Not as a joke, genuinely type that in. And it's surgery, by the way. You got to have surgery. Can't afford it. Also autofilled, which I thought was pretty rude. I was like, "How do I?" Google's like, "Glow up." It's pretty rad. I should say, she only ever taught me English. She didn't teach me drama. I was far too insecure in high school to do drama. That and I felt the drama kids insufferable. Obviously, if you're in tonight and you did drama at high school, I am also talking about you. I'm sure you're still real fucking annoying. Our drama kids took it too far, right? What they did, I was senior year 2004, and in 2004 the film Bring It On again came out. Not the one you think of. The sequel no one saw. And they decided to start a school cheer squad. Pretty cool. Interesting choice for a bunch of girls that were terrible at sport. And they hated it. I think they thought what would happen is they would just kind of get to dance around the auditorium with their mates, but the reality was involved a lot more netball matches. The teachers brought them to everything, and we didn't want them there. We were like, please, we begged them, like, do not bring them. It's actually really embarrassing. And the teacher said, "Don't be like that, girls. They've been working really hard." Okay, this is the hard work they put in, right? What they did is they went around the school and they found the smallest girl. Do you know, like, every school has one. Every school has one kid that's like Ripley's Believe It or Not height. You know what I'm saying? There's like one Danny DeVito. And they're like, "When I get my growth spurt." I'm like, okay, growth spurt, you need a tumour on your pituitary gland. They found her, they signed her up, and the big plan was they're going to chuck her in the air. She's going to do some flips. Now look, was it impressive when they threw her in the air? Yeah. Yeah, it was. But you would be asking the wrong question, wouldn't you? The question you need to ask is, did they catch her? Not one time. I don't even know if that girl's still alive. But anyway, back to English. She came in one day, she announced this, right? She said, I'm off Oprah. Well, that's interesting, miss, considering no one asked. And she said, I've gone off it. She said, I used to be Oprah's biggest fan, but I've not watched her in over a year. She said, I'll tell you why. She said, I wrote Oprah a letter. And that letter said, Dear Oprah, I think we are kindred spirits. And I think if we met, we'd be best friends. And she said, I'm going to be in Chicago on this day, at this time, in this cafe. And I think you should meet me there. And guys, this is insane, right? Oprah didn't show. And my teacher was so mad. She's like, I gave her 3 months notice and she didn't come. But the craziest part of the story, right, is she told that very earnestly to a room full of 17-year-old girls. And I was the only girl in that class who laughed. I mean, that's the funniest story I've ever heard. Also, I went to an all-girls Catholic school. Like, not a snigger, unheard of. This same group of girls in another class, we had a male relief teacher. All he said, he just went, any questions, ladies? Sarah, up the back, she goes, yeah, I got a question. If I swallow cum, will I get pregnant? Classic. And that teacher said, this is a maths class. And then he never taught at our school ever again. But on this day, I'm the only one that laughs, the only girl that laughs. And my English teacher took it pretty badly. She really turned on me. She said, you know what, Bronwyn? You are so cynical. You will lead a very sad life. I know, brutal, right? She doubled down on it too. She said, I took my daughters on that trip. I told my daughters they were going to meet Oprah. And they sat in that cafe and they cried. Do you think that's funny? Yeah, I think that's funny. I hope you're in matching outfits, actually. It's wild to me that cynicism gets such a bad rap. Do you know, like, that's crazy to me. Do you know, like, I think unbridled optimism is the real danger. Do you know, it's like she carted her daughters halfway across the world to cry in a cafe, but somehow I'm the bad guy in that story. That's wild to me. I don't know where people get this confidence from. I met a woman recently in a pink fur hat. The end. That's the joke. Shouldn't have happened, should it? No, I don't know. I think I'm just jealous. Is there anyone else in the room like this? Like, nothing will ruin my day faster than trying on a hat. I absolutely crumble. I look like a potato in disguise. Look like a kid no one wants to make a wish for. It's the worst. No, obviously Pink Hat didn't have that problem. She kind of had the energy of, I would say, a married at first sight bride. Do you know who? Oh, a few nods. Yeah, you know the type. A little unlucky in love, trying to get that candle business off the ground. Doubles in resin, I reckon. Any maths heads in tonight? Nah, no one will admit it, ever. Every time I ask that question, everyone lies. They're making it for someone. I know, I get it. You're supposed to be embarrassed. No one can say they watch maths. And I do every year. I watch it and I go, disgusting. This show is disgusting. Never again. I would never again. And then I read one recap on the internet and I'm like, oh, that dinner party sounded cool. I reckon I will watch. And my favourite part though is they still call it the experiment. They're always like, you got to respect these. Oh, I reckon, is it an experiment? Like once you've failed the same experiment 45 times, it's like, it's almost like you know exactly what's going to happen next. I reckon you know when you pair Dean up with Gemma that he's going to tell her he doesn't normally go for fat blondes. And I think you know Gemma is going to glass him and call him a cunt. I think That might even be why we watch. This might come as a surprise to a lot of you. I've only ever been called a cunt once. To my face. But that's good numbers. Once. I'm from regional Queensland. I know, thank you. I might actually be a good person. Sometimes I let myself think that I might be a good person, and then sometimes I enjoy it too much when I see someone fall off a Lime scooter. I saw a good one. It was a couple doubled up. Tell me you cheat on your girlfriend without telling me you cheat on your girlfriend. But it was guys in the front, girl in the back, and they came up to an intersection, and he broke too hard, and he catapulted his girlfriend into oncoming traffic. I know, I've lost some of you, but it's... Relax, you can laugh. No one got hurt. That shouldn't have. But anyway, back to the pink hat. When I say I met a woman in a pink hat, what happened is my partner and I found a woman in a pink hat, passed out in a gutter. Makes more sense now, doesn't it? We were out very early. I should say, when I say partner, what I mean is lesbian. We were out walking our dogs, so when I say dogs, what I mean is rescue. And when I say rescue, what I mean is mistake, obviously. No, you try and do the right thing, got two absolute duds. One's got Parkinson's, one's blind. They didn't come like that. Absolutely bleeding us dry. We have one little Shih Tzu, and one morning we woke up, right, and he was squinting really badly, and we panicked. We rushed him to the vet, and we're like, can you take a look? And the vet said, it's got to come out. And we said, what's got to come out? And the vet said, the eyeball. And we were like, what? Like, it escalated so quickly. We're like, oh, okay. We're not going to try a drop. And the vet said no. And they took the eyeball out. And so we have a one-eyed Shih Tzu, which is fine. He's still very cute. It's great. But then I would say 6 to 8 months later, same thing happened to the other eye. I know, but we sort of braced ourselves and we're like, right, we're going to have this cursed teddy bear, but it'll all be okay. We'll still love him. And so we rushed him to a different vet. And we went in there and we said, it's got to come out. And the vet said, what's got to come out? And we said, the eyeball. And the vet said, what? Anyway, he's got drops now. Vet was like, what happened to the other eye? None of your fucking business. So I didn't know vets can be bad at their job, but I guess it makes sense when your patients can't talk. So we're out walking the dog very early on a Sunday morning. Because on top of all those issues, they bite. Go see a breeder. Anyway, so we have to walk them very early in the morning, and we could see Pink Hat off in the distance, and it looked pretty dicey. Do you know it only takes like one limb out of place? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is asleep, and then like that's dead. Do you know? So from a distance, it looked like we might end up as guests on a true crime podcast. You know, which is the dream, isn't it? One woman's violent end is another woman's white noise. What a beautiful point in popular culture we have reached. But no, it's all good. We didn't end up on the podcast. She was fine. We didn't even have to get that close to find out she was snoring like a freight train. So, it was pretty impressive. And that coming from someone who grew up with a dad, that was shockingly bad. He once fell asleep on a train and then woke up covered in Post-it notes that said, go see a doctor. And then he didn't, because why would you? Just choke on your own tongue instead. He's all right. Love my dad. He's good. He can be kind of hard to translate sometimes. Like he has a story that he thinks is this really beautiful, teachable moment. He loves telling it to me. He tells it to me all the time. And it's this story about when I was 7 and we're at the school fete and there was an art competition and all the kids had to draw a picture of a cake. Right? And he's in the classroom. All the cakes are up on the wall. My cake's there. I didn't win. I got a highly commended. He's got my little highly commended sticker. And he goes over. He's really confused by this. He goes, finds one of the judges. He brings her in. He goes, this cake. She goes, yeah. He's like, you gave it a highly commended. She said, yeah, that's right. And he said, this cake is shit. I was there, so that's good, isn't it? What a formative memory. Yes, I have been on a mental health care plan. Thank you for asking. I did a few sessions of therapy, but thing I found, I didn't know how to stop. I think you can just not book another appointment. I didn't realise. I thought I was treating it like an escape room. Like I was coming up with a plan. I was like, oh, this will get her. Yeah. The big plan I had, I was like, oh, I'll tell her a really nice story about my dad, like a nice memory, and then she'd be like, oh, you have a good relationship with your father, you're cured. And then I thought that's how I would win therapy. And I told her this story. It's when I was about 18, 19, I was still living at home, and if my mum and my brothers were out, and it was just Dad and I home for tea, what we'd do is we'd get 2 kilos of prawns, 2 bottles of white wine, we'd get drunk on the balcony, and we called it prawn and wine night. Loved it. Loved prawn and wine night. One time, my dad got to fire a man at work, so we had to confiscate that man's work phone, and he brought that to prawn and wine night. And we read that man's personal text messages. And it is, to this day, the most fun I've ever had. My life will never get better than that one night. But it's good. And so I told her this story and I thought she'd love it. She didn't. And she said, what did you call it? And I was pretty smug. I was like, prawn and wine night, you can use that. She goes, oh, prawn and wine night. To me, sounds like date night. Yeah. Anyone else here ever been medically diagnosed with dating their dad? Is that... Just me? Okay, cool. It's crazy. I thought you went to therapy to work through trauma. Turns out you go to turn everything into trauma, which makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like with their business model, you do need to be sick for them to make money. Honestly, I think it was an upsell. You know what I mean? Oh, you think you're cured? Because I think you're fucking your dad, so... Might want to clear that calendar. She's good. I'm still seeing her. Anyway, back to the cake. We were there. Dad goes, this cake is shit. And the woman agreed. She goes, yeah, it's a very badly drawn cake. She said, but if you look at it, it's up on a table. You're looking up at it. She's drawn it from her point of view. She's drawn it from a child's perspective. And my dad loves that. He's always like, see, Bron? It's all about perspective. Can you believe I dated that man? I'll tell you what, never again. Learned that lesson. Have you noticed no one says daddy issues anymore? That's like not a thing. That doesn't... You don't say. You say this instead. Now, right? You go. I think her love language is receiving gifts. That's. No, I think daddy issues always like had carried too much weight. Do you know what I mean? Like I think the kind of people that keep you out of gutters, it's like your mates, right? Like that's what made me so mad when we found this girl. I was like, where are your fucking friends? Like who leaves a friend like this? I have a good group of friends and very much have like a no woman left behind policy, which is like sometimes there is one you want to cut loose. But You can't, because sometimes it's you as well. So you have to be careful. It's been me. It's definitely been me. I'm banned from smoking weed. I think we all are by the law, but it's unless you've got one of those cool GPs. But no, I've been banned by my friends, which is far more embarrassing. No, it's my worst drug. My best drug, poppers. What does that mean? I don't know. You be the judge. But no, I've been banned. I get like the paranoia, which is a classic. But on top of that, I get this very special thing that's just for me. I get passive aggressive, which is good as that. A paranoid passive aggressive. It's like someone wearing a tinfoil hat and calling you champ. You're like, oh, I don't think I like this. The last time I did it, I was at a party with some mates and we shared a joint. And then once we were done, I decided everyone at the party hated me. And then I told my friends I was going to the bathroom, but I didn't go to the bathroom. What I did is I ran home barefoot 2 kilometres. And then I got in the door, I texted my friend Rosie and I said, well, I'm home safe. Followed up with, if anyone's even noticed, I'm gone. And then she wrote back, she said, yeah, we've noticed, we're all out looking for you. I know. And so I said, oh, sorry for the inconvenience. And can you believe that is not the one time I got called a cunt? Like, that is... It's crazy. So I think, like, if Pink had a Rosie, she wouldn't be in the gutter. But she got the next best thing, I think. She got 2 sturdy lesbians, which will get you out of most jams. I know people think it's the sensible shoes, but it's not. It's the low centre of gravity. Can't be pushed over. It's... She was lucky. She got us. It very nearly wasn't us. There was one other candidate that morning. There was also, coming from the other direction, a man. Yikes, huh? You don't want it to be a man. The men are great. Love men. Some of my relatives are men. And but a man could be more help. You know what I mean? A man could have carried her home, but he also could have wrapped her in a tarp and thrown her in a lake. So it's like, it's just higher ceiling, lower floor is what I'm saying. And this day, this man, he had band-aids where his eyebrows should be. That is... Yeah. Band-aids where his eyebrows should be. I don't even think they were there as band-aids. I'm pretty sure they were there as eyebrows. I don't know what happens to you when you get to that point, but it does make you think, doesn't it? Like, if you're having a bad day, maybe stop and think, are my eyebrows band-aids? And if the answer's no, maybe you need to just fucking get on with it. He was also very hard to read. But he was quite sweet. He did offer it. He was like, ladies, can I do anything? And it was very, like, I think this is more of a, like, maybe apply your own oxygen mask before helping others. Sort of situation. Do you know, like, you've got stuff going on. Maybe you sort that out and we'll take care of this. So she had me and Liz help her out. Liz is my partner. We've been together a few years now. I think the secret for us and our relationship is only one person is allowed on Facebook Marketplace. That is me. That is, what a hellscape that place is. And it's my job to say, yeah, I think you would make a couple $100, but we do need the fridge. And anyone here big on Marketplace? Oh, there's a few. Oh, okay. You're all right. What's the best thing you've gotten on it?
I got a dresser.
A dresser. I always think these questions are going to be so much, like, just more exciting, and they never... I asked this one time, and the woman went, a toaster. I was like, that's the best. And she goes, yeah, and one side doesn't work. What's so great about this dresser?
It's got a lot of hidden drawers in the back.
Oh, you bought it off a drug dealer. What do you... Did he have a bag? That kind of... He did, yeah. Okay, cool. The dresser sounds fun. The dresser's sick. I take it back. It's a great dresser. Have you... Lissa's done this, right? She's changed her name on Facebook so she can fight with people on Marketplace. Oh, you've done that too?
My friends do.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's... Yeah, we'll get ready for this. Right, her full name, Melissa Phillips. Her Facebook name, Melissa Philopes. I reckon we could have workshopped that one a little longer. Her profile picture, her face. So forget witness of protection, just buy a vowel, I reckon. I don't know what her plan is either. She's like if someone comes banging on the door and they're like, is Melissa Philopes there? And I'm like, no, but there is a Melissa Phillips. And they go, no, sorry, my mistake, definitely Philopes. I told her I was going to tell that joke. She got really upset. She was like, okay, great, so I've got to change my name. I was like, yeah. Let me help you out. How's Melissa Phillips? Is that... She put a jacket up on Marketplace, but jacket up, $50. The guy gets back to her, he goes, I'll give you 45. And then she said, nah, it's 50. If you meet her in real life, she's sweet, very lovely. But when she is Melissa Philopes, doesn't mess about. She said, nah, jacket's 50. And then he said, all right, I'll give you 60. I think that's a red flag. She gave him our home address. So... Now, before any money or goods were exchanged, he thought the next step in the process would be to write a song about the jacket and then film himself singing that song and then send her that song. The song was called That Green Jacket's Mine, and he looked like a dad that had gotten divorced that day. He sent that video and she said, deals off, do not come. And he said, oh, I'm already here. It's crazy. And then he started knocking on the door and she was like, you go, you've got to answer it. And I answered the door and he said, is Melissa Philopes there? And I said, no, but there is a Melissa. No, that didn't happen. No, of course not. We're two grown women. We ran around, we turned off all the lights and pretended we weren't home for an hour. No, Facebook is the Wild West. Like, I recently received 50 dick pics from one man in one message. 50 dicks, one man. It's the worst math since 2 girls, 1 cup. You know? So I can guarantee you my own parents don't have 50 photos of my face, but I own 50 photos of a stranger's genitals. It's so crazy. I've shown a lot of friends this, right? And they always say the same thing, like, you got to block this guy, you got to report it. I've done neither. It seems pointless. I think, like, telling someone about unsolicited dick pic kind of feels like telling someone about a dream you just had. Do you know what I mean? Because you're just like, you think it's important someone knows about it, and they're like, yeah, but nothing happened. None of it's real. So I have... Also, Mark Zuckerberg's newest hobby is cage fighting as well. I reckon once you've stepped into an octagon, you've picked your team and it's not mine. And Mark Zuckerberg cage fighting, it kind of feels like when the weird kid at school turns up with nunchucks. Do you know? Right? When they're like, oh, this is the day everyone respects me. And Oh, buddy. So I've not bothered. But it's a crazy number. 50s, it's, I would say, the most unsettling number of dicks. I think we can all agree that 50, like, dicks have a prime number energy. You know? 50's too round. That's crazy. I like, I'm not into them, but that doesn't mean I think dicks should be divisible. That's that's my stance. I've got brothers, I've got a father, and it's a lot. It's hard to know what his plan was. 50, like 50. I'll send her 50. If I send her 50, there'll be one. You know what I mean? She'll like one. There's 50, and he was right. There was one. I know you're not supposed to have favourites, but I do. I've got a favourite. I'm going to show it to you. You don't have to look. I'll count you in. You can close your eyes, leave the room. It's all fine. I'm just getting consent, which is more than what he did for me. So, all right, we're going to do it. I'm going to put... Are you guys ready? Oh, it doesn't sound like it. But guess what? I'll do it anyway. And all right, I'm going to count you in. 3, 2, 1. My favourite dick. There it is. It's pretty good. My favourite thing about this picture, like having it in my show, is that there's now a nudity warning, which means there's someone in this room, some little pervert, that was like, I reckon I'll see boobs, and sucked in. I do have a question for people with penises, people who enjoy penises. That bit up the top there. What is it? Is it always there? That is in my head, they were attached to a much more solid foundation, but this one looks like it's about to drop off. I can't be 100% sure, but I do think the bit at the top is why I'm gay. No, I know I get a lot of complaints about this, and the biggest one being the glasses are crooked. So I know everyone's there just like, oh, if we could just, and the lenses are filthy, and it's upsetting. It's upsetting to get sexually harassed and for it to be a half-assed effort, and such a shame when you've gone this far. Like, you could have gone a bit for, like, we really could have elevated. You could have done something like this. There we go. Oh, we forgot the eye. Can we get the eyebrows on? Hey, it had to happen, didn't it? Surprising, it looks a lot like the man that tried to help. We can take it down now. It's gone. Did anyone close their eyes? No, they never do. Everyone's like, I'll take a peek. So, Pink Hat, we got her up. It took a minute. We got her up and we're like, look, can we help you get home? And she said, yes. And I thought, oh, we've made a huge mistake. But we're like, all right, we'll help you get home. We're like, where do you live? She said, I live that way. We're like, sure, that'll do. So like, we'll go that way. And then something happened I wasn't expecting. She took the lead. We shouldn't have let this happen. But what she did is she handed off all her accessories. So Liz got the hat, and then I got this like sequin handbag. And then she held out a hand like this. And we had to take a hand each. So we've kind of got her and a dog and an accessory. And she's now risen from the gutter to be the queen. Quite a transfer, a glow up, if you will. And she literally, she led us in a circle. Like in an actual, not even a big one. We went across the road, and then she brought us like back across the road. And we had to stop her. We're like, right, how about you just tell us where you live? And then she said, how about we just head in the direction we need to be? Have we picked up a troll without a bridge? Why are we solving riddles? You know what I mean? Do you ever have someone say something to you so like it just erodes your reality? I'm not sure I exist anymore. It's happened to me one other time. I used to work in hospitality. Yeah, I know what you're all thinking, and you're right. Got a lot of complaints. I'm bad at it. I'm bad at cafe. I don't smile. People like it when you smile. I don't know why. I think service with a smile is deranged. So, like, if you see someone in a muffin break uniform with a shit-eating grin, like that's the Joker. What you're witnessing is an origin story. But I was working a donut cart in a Westfield. Very simple donuts, good, honest donuts. It wasn't like... remember a few years ago we really tried to ruin donuts? Like, and there was like a hole in the wall on every corner, and it would be called like, "Oh, you better donut," you know? And it'd be this monstrosity, and it's huge. And then they stick a syringe in it, and they go, "That's $45." And you know, well, that's 45. That's crazy. You can't pay your employees superannuation. It's important you know it wasn't that kind of donut. It was just a regular donut. And then he came up to my cart, and he said, "Hey, is that a donut? Or is that a candle?" Is that a donut or is that a candle? I said, "It's a donut." And then he said, "Oh, don't worry about it then." I'll worry about that for the rest of my fucking life. Is that a donut? Or the thing that makes a donut is that there's nothing in the middle. And the thing that is so fucking important for a candle, right, is that there's something in the fucking middle. And they're just not even in the same animal kingdom. Do you know? It's like, it's not like saying, is that a lion or a tiger? It's like, is that a lion or a candle? They're just... So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, like, my only explanation is that maybe he was fritzled in a lush. Do you know? Just locked in the basement of a lush, 18 years. And he's emerged, trying to make sense of the world. Is that a cupcake or a bath bomb? Someone help me out. The other thing I always think about with Fritzl's basement is, like, someone built that. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone had to build... So if you're a tradie and you get a call and someone wants a quote for a trapdoor, flag that. There should be a hotline just for tradies. That's like 1-800, did I just build a sex dungeon? Do you know what I mean? Just like... He had a lot of questions about soundproofing for a man without a drum kit. I think my favourite job I ever had, right, I was a receptionist in a sexual health clinic. Yeah, if you've been sitting there and you're like, I know her face. I have not been on TV. It's from that time you had chlamydia. So... I loved it. It was good. We used to give out free. It was a good service. It was like a youth service that was free. It was like we gave out free condoms, and it was my job to, like, guard the condoms. I mean, I didn't stop it. It wasn't a resource I was fighting for. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, take them. But you would have at least every day a kid would come in and he'd be like, "You got extra large?" and you to say, "No, we don't have extra large, but we do have extra thick. Please don't reproduce." And but one day this kid fought me on it, right? He was like, "Nah, look, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. I'm just really well inclined." Really well inclined. Yeah, what he was reaching for, of course, was endowed, but I think we had the same English teacher. So... But But my favourite part, right, my favourite part about working at the clinic was that you got to work with nurses. I love working with nurses. I think nurses have the best goss. You know, like people think hairdressers know people's business, but nurses have your charts. So they've got the good stuff. One of the nurses at the clinic told me this, right? She said, somewhere out there, there is a woman who for $30 will shit in your sandwich. And then you eat that sandwich. I know. It's too low, isn't it? $30. That price point keeps me up at night. That's an insane business plan. 30, how many sandwiches can you make? 2 a day, max. $60. If I'm shitting in sandwiches, I'm sorry, it's not my side hustle. You know? I'm not working a full-time job, coming home exhausted, squeezing something out into a panini. That's a... No, thank you. I've thought about it, and if I was going to shit in sandwiches, this is how I would do it. I would get up. I'd have one coffee, batch brew, obviously, and I'd make one sandwich, and then I would never work again. I'm still looking for a buyer. I put some effort in, obviously, like, we're talking like maybe like a toasted brioche, house-made relish, that kind of thing. I am not waking up to a Yelp review that says, could have made this at home. I recently did a past life regression therapy session. You've heard of it? No, it sounds funny. You're right. No, I did. Anyone else here done one? Okay. Yeah, no, correct. You get hypnotised and then you go back and recall your past life. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into the occult. I know I don't look like it. I look more like the only woman that works on a cattle station, but I love it. I find it a little therapeutic. Do you know what I mean? I'll say this for psychics. Not one psychic has ever told me that I'm fucking my dad. So they're up. I'll give them my money. It's funny though. It's always the same. Like in your head, you think it's going to be like, I don't know, like a cabin in the wood and like some velvet curtains or something. But it's always just like a very nice lady in a nice suburb with a nice house that's converted her garage into like an aura photography. And whenever I go, I always think the same thing. I'm just like, why do you have a house? Our jobs are equally stupid and I don't have a house. But then I remembered I gave her $300. So, but this is what happens, right? You kind of like, you just got to sit in a lazy boy and then it's with a doona on and then it's like a guided meditation. Yeah, so they guide you back. So you go to your childhood, and then you're a baby, and then from here, like you kind of pop over into the afterlife and shit. So, but this portal from baby to before you were born is your mum's pussy. So I wasn't expecting that. Like it's a weird thing. She kind of told me to climb into the womb, and then I laughed, and she said, "You need to relax. You need to think about what you're asking me." $300, I reckon we can find an alternative route. We didn't. I got in there and I went back, right? This is my past life. I was a man called Jack and I lived in the 1600s in Scotland at a like a fishing village or a seaport place. And I was big. I still had red hair. Was ugly. Had no friends. I died all alone, sitting up in a wooden chair. That was the whole thing, no refunds. It's not even good. It's not interesting. It's in the show for tax purposes. You know, it is good to prove my English teacher wrong, though. Because it's like, old me lead many sad lives. Thank you. No, I mean that Jack's life definitely sad. This one's all right. I don't think this life is sad. I quite like it. I think sometimes it can be hard to tell if you're leading a good life. That's kind of hard. But I like to think that, you know, most people are good and they're doing their best, even if their best is in the gutter and leading you in circles. That's what was so important for me that day, that we helped this woman. You know what I mean? Like it was important for me that we got her home. Because it's a nice thought that you put a little good into the world and maybe it spreads, you know, maybe she does something good for someone else. So we stopped her and we slowed her down a bit. We're like, look, you just give us your address and we'll get you home. And she was sort of taken aback and she took a moment and she looked me dead in the eye and she said something I will never, ever forget. She said, how about you stop being a nosy cunt?
Click, clap, pull it. Go ahead and do it. Fucking with me is like Russian roulette with 6 bullets. 15 minutes, done. Lights out. You just a guest here, bitch. This is my house. You ain't got no say-so, bitch, in the story. I'm pissing on the rap game, cause it's my territory. Don't ignore me, cause I'm a motherfucking beast in these motherfucking streets, and you're motherfucking weak. So if you piss me up, bang, bang, piss me up.